Hello everyone. Phoenix 6-1 here with your Legend shenanigans for the day. We are rocking the Pozharsky. We're going to start taking some shots right off the bat here. Just a couple of salvos is getting us up right early in the game here. 15,000 damage off of this Nebraska. I think we shot at somebody else right before too, but anyway, this has become one of my favorite ships since it came out around holiday season last year. Just because it's really great for farming credits, so we'll kind of showcase that as well at the end of it. I got a couple of games here for your entertainment purposes only, right? But we're undetected at the moment, so I started to move back in towards the zone here just a little bit. We do have to be cautious of destroyers spotting us, and then of course we are a cruiser, so a destroyer spotting us and a battleship shooting us while we're broadside would be pretty detrimental to us, right? So we need to be quite cautious here. But we do have my favorite part about this ship. It all works so well together, right? But you get smokescreen with this thing, right? So they're short duration, kind of like how a lot of the British ships have it. But a lot of times it's absolutely perfect for just simply doing some like damage farming, getting, drawing attention, getting the attention off of you, right, while you do some work. So we got a Carno out here off on the flank, so we're going to take some shots at him. And no one was looking at us yet, including the Carno, so I held off just a little bit before dropping the smoke here. And then we'll just continue right here. Somebody else has him spotted for us, so we'll just continue to try and take shots at him, right? But up to 55,000 damage now just from these handful of salvos off on him. He's got a pretty hefty health pool. And then, yep, trying to maintain range and be able to support this zone as well. If you look at the minimap, we've got a few ships that are kind of bundled up behind the island, which is kind of frustrating because they can't really do much, and drawing fire is one of those important things as well. So I'm kind of out here, out in open waters, and we need to be careful and cautious about that. We'll take some shots at the black here. And then we were undetected as the smoke had dissipated there, so I was just holding off on firing for just a second to try and just remain unspotted while we could. But the black is close enough to us now that he was getting the spot on us. So a lot of work to be done over on this flank. You can see if you look at the mini-map, right, 5 ships over here, the 5th one being that black that's in the zone there. So we're ducking into our smoke screen every moment that we get, and then trying to help out our allies, right? Get the assist on the destroyer, so that's good for us. And then I'm going to try and reposition a little bit here so we can get more turrets on target on this Carno, because he's the only thing spotted at the moment. Swing and a miss there. He is maneuvering, he's turning out, he's trying to get away again. So we'll continue to take shots at him. We'll just aim high. Try and get superstructure damage done. Bismarck's out there moving away from this zone. Was hoping to get a couple shots on him. Didn't work out. Both of my destroyers on my team are over by the Charlie flank now. I think one of them maybe spawned mid and then went that way. So this is really unfortunate. We just don't have a spotting platform on this flank. That would be really huge for us right now. Right, so that is one of the things that I kind of look for, like especially if I'm a destroyer player. I'll take a look at the board right as the game is starting and see, if I'm mid-spawn, sometimes I'll go out to one of the sides if that particular flank doesn't have a destroyer, so then that way we can do some spotting. And that sometimes that becomes super valuable. Smoke screen's going to be back really quick here already. Nobody's taking a shot at me just yet. Oh, there comes one. I was kind of looking and waiting for this Amagi to start pointing his guns in this direction before dropping it, and that actually worked out pretty well. But of course, again, I was the only thing spotting any of these ships, so they're kind of ducking in and out of being spotted versus unspotted. I'm going to take shots at the Cardinal. I feel like we can do, right, especially if he's giving us angle, if he's broadside to us, he'll be the one that we can do the most damage to. So I've been taking my shots at him when he's there. He's turning away now, though, and then, of course, goes undetected. So we'll work on this Amagi now, right? We're basically just trying to damage farm at this point. This is going to help us with credit earnings and XP and all that other fun stuff by the end of the game. Bismarck finally shows up coming around the corner. I'm curious how he lost so much health. Right, we are down 2 ships. They're only down 1, so we're trying to see if we can even this out. Yes, we can. Amagi's going to be a little bit easier of a target here, so I'm going to pick on him. He's also lower on health. Right, but we're going to aim high. We need to hit superstructure, stuff like that. Try and get our damage that way just because of how he's angled. And then, of course, yes, he's backing up, so we're going to aim even higher and further back on his ship. We've got smokescreen ready. So kind of what I've been doing here, too, that's been working pretty good is, you know, we'll remain spotted for a little bit, and then once somebody seems to, you know, decide they want to start turning towards us and shooting at us, that's kind of when I drop the smoke. So that way we can draw some fire as well, but let's still do it in a conservative way where we don't get, you know, sunk right away, right? So that helps out our teammates just as much as it helps us out. These guys are going to run into each other, which is going to make it tough to get hits here, but we do get a Citadel there, and we get our 3rd assist for the game. So we're now actually up a ship. This becomes a very, very competitive game at the end. And then we've got another one to go through after this as well. So we'll continue to pick on Bismarck here. Only a couple seconds left on the smoke screen here. I'm curious if we're going to be spotted. Yes, we are, so it's fine. We'll just watch our angling and see if he's going to shoot at us or somebody else. We've still got that Amagi out there as well. 10 seconds left for smoke if we need it again. That's going to be our last one, though. But yeah, 145,000 damage and counting here. Does take the shot at us. I did hit full forward. We don't take too bad of a hit there. Couldn't really ask for more for how much we were angled. And then that does give us high caliber. So we're going to use the smoke to try and finish off these last 2 battleships on this flank. We've got a little bit of help. Just going to keep the bullets flying. A lot of zooming in and zooming out to sort of like reset our aim there. So kind of let the automatic aim, right, do most of the work for us, and then you kind of just a little bit of tweaking to where you're pointing at based on how he's angled and how he's maneuvering, right? So moving back, angled away, so we're going to aim a little bit higher, a little bit further back, right, than what auto aim gives us. All right, so these guys are both gone, right? We've got a pretty significant ship lead. Now we just lost one there. We're going to start heading into the zone. The object of the game now is to get yourself back into play to try and fight off the rest of the enemy ships. But problem here is the red team has completely cleaned up on the other flank and has had both, you know, they've got 2 zones capped to our 1 here. So they're catching up on points pretty quickly here. 1 ship sunk on our team is going to make a big difference. This Navarin has a massive amount of health left for the amount of time that's left in this game. Super unfortunate. And then we, of course, do not have any smoke screens left, right? So I'm trying to keep this island in between us and him while we sort of try and whittle away at his damage. But that also means that somebody else on my team needs to be, you know, doing the spotting, right? And everyone's kind of low on health and nobody wants to be doing any of that. This Congress also has a good chunk of health left, and I think they've got radar, right? So we'll have to be careful for that. But yeah, they're already taking the Bravo cap away from us here. So points are going to be even more of a problem once that happens. Was Congress have radar? I don't know. I think I'm confusing it with something else. Either way, we're going to shoot him. Yeah, there goes our Hector who was doing that spotting, who was spotting those ships in Bravo. So, of course, now we've got 2 ships left to our 3, right? But this battleship out in front of me has almost next to nothing left, right? So, not going to take much to get rid of him. It's going to be a real struggle for us to take out a Navarin within the amount of time that we have left, right? Very heavily armored ship. Good secondaries. Yeah, he's going to finish off our battleship. So, scores even on ships now. But my thought process here is I really need to get in range of torpedoes for this Navarin, right? Like, yeah, we've got a Baltimore out there too. It's going to have the same struggle, right? It takes, you can do it, you can get it done, you can get these ships sunk in these, you know, with a cruiser, but the problem is the amount of time it's going to take with how much health he has. So the name of the game here for me, my strategy was try and get close enough where I could use torpedoes to get those big chunky damage hits. And I'm just here, I'm trying to decide literally which way he thinks he's going to go around the island. Because if I go the opposite way, then it's going to be a huge time suck. I'm down to 3 minutes on this one, right? So now we've lost our Baltimore, right? He's going to go down quick to a battleship, right? So I'm going to take a guess here on this one, because part of this is because he was looking the other way shooting at our Baltimore, right? So I'm going to go this way and hope that his guns are pointed in the other direction. And then I tripped the sonar here so we could get a little bit of an early spot on him. So it gives us a little bit of time. Problem's going to be we've got this Congress here also. We can see that he's slowing down, so I shot those torps early. But he gets an epic chunk of damage out of us there. I suppose I should be happy he didn't get the dev strike on us, but we do manage to land 5 torpedo hits, but of course we get taken out before we can even see how much health took away from him. We'll take a look at the leaderboard here, but that gives us 218,000 damage for the game. No kills, only 4 assists, but that does put us top spot on the leaderboard. 2100 XP for a game for being on the losing team is actually a pretty epic score, because you get a 1.5x multiplier if you win a game for XP, so that's pretty hefty, right? Like, there's some games we have out there where we don't even score 2100 as the winning team, right? But good chunk of credits earned on that one. We'll dive into game 2 or have a little bit more success in this game. Right off the bat, right, I'm jumping right into the head where we've got some action happening. But first salvo there against the Flounder gives us 9,700 damage, right? So these AP shells are quite potent. So we're going to keep, and then the way we've got this commander built, right, is we're getting those little tiny incremental increases of damage dealt for AP shells as we land more and more hits. So this Flounder is already down to half health here. Quite a bit of it attributed to us. Some others took some shots at him as well. Now I've got a Wisconsin here that's trying to hog my smoke screen. Right, like, I get why you want to be in a smoke screen, but you're also a battleship that, you know, you're going to have your smoke firing penalty, where I guarantee you this guy's spotted regardless if he fires his guns, right? So all of these shots, these shells, this damage that I'm taking here is because people were firing at that Wisconsin and not me, right? So we're taking just the shells that are missing him and happen to hit us, or the splash damage, whatever, right? But so yeah, but now we're only spotted by planes for the moment. I'm gonna guess that these torp bombers are going after this Wisconsin. We've got a few seconds left and we can drop smoke again. But yeah, our smoke screen's pretty short duration as well, so he kind of made himself a sitting duck there by trying to stop inside my smoke screen. But anyway, we'll continue to pick on whoever we've got spotted here. Noir's going to take the shots at the Wisconsin, obviously, but if he's going to sit still, he's going to be an easy target for us, and I'll take that. Few torpedoes, so we've got potential for, you know, we can see their destroyers up in the top left over by Charlie, so there must be a sort of torpedo-centric cruiser on this side, is going to be my guess. But we'll continue to whittle away at the Nord here, since he's what we've got detected. And then, yeah, I can see a cruiser on the minimap moving towards Bravo, so I'm going to guess torpedoes were probably from whoever that is. I think this Wisconsin here is probably just up a little bit too far for how early it is in the game, especially since he's getting picked on by the carrier too. But we'll get some planes shot down. And up to 57,000 damage now. And then I'm going to take my time with the next shot here because we are kind of potentially waiting on smokescreen cooldown again. You could argue like firing would be a good idea to try and help draw fire away from this Wisconsin, but I think he's kind of fighting a losing. He's kind of a lost cause now at this point. You're up too far for how early it is in the game, and he's going to get focused on since he's kind of lower on health now too. But we'll take some shots here. We do get spotted from taking the shots. We'll use the smoke screen. See if we can finish off Noir. Wisconsin doesn't get him. And then I was hoping to be able to shoot the D7P. Oh, so it must not have been him. He doesn't have torpedoes, right? So it must have been somebody else that sent torpedoes earlier. Oh, Noir does. Noir has long-range torpedoes. Duh. Noir's got like 13+ kilometer range torp, so those were definitely from him earlier. I am so smart. SMRT. He must be using heals right now, yeah. Wisconsin manages to finish him off. Still alive. He looks like he's burning, though, so let's see. Yeah, there he goes. But would have got him with fires. See if we can help with this Fletcher. I'm going to take the shot. I think maybe the rear turrets could get through still. No, we hit everything on hit the land that time. We're still in sort of a challenging position here, right? Both the Reds are kind of taking over both Charlie and Bravo Cap at the moment. I'd like to be able to help out with this Fletcher, especially if he's going to come this direction. So we'll see if we can get these shots off on him before he goes undetected. I'm going to try and get as much out of him as we can. And then, yep, so that's what was picking on the Wisconsin, right? These skip bombs from the Soviet aircraft carrier planes, right? So, alright, Fletcher, if he doesn't have smokescreen, we're going to keep him spotted. He's way too close to us now. I did drop the sonar, and we do get a lucky hit with the torpedo there, right? So we'll keep moving up. We'll have smokescreen ready if we need it, so we'll see how we'll try and get us in a good position to be able to work on this Delaware. More likely might even need the... Ooh, we're getting radared here. Might need the smokescreen to try and avoid the airplanes, to be honest, at this point. Just keeping an eye on the Delaware's guns, see if he decides to try and point them towards us. And then, of course, yes, I'm watching the airplanes. The torpedo drop behind us coming from the airplanes as well. So, radar's done, whoever that was. I'm going to take a shot at the Delaware and see if we get spotted. There was a smoke screen between us and him from somebody. Yeah, we're going to take a bunch of these torpedoes. That's brutal. I was hoping that by stopping and turning like out, like we would dodge some of that. But he totally read me correctly, right? Made a really good drop. Those are like, right, like I probably could have just, I probably should have kept moving, to be honest. But this puts us in good position to work on the Delaware here. So it ends up being a risk worth taking in the end here, but I kind of regretted my decision in the moment there. But another assist. And then I'm going to guess my teammates that are south of the Charlie Cap here are going to push into C and get the capture there. So I'm just watching the planes here to see where he's going to drop. Right, he's kind of having to guess here at this point because we're in the smoke. So like I said, I'm probably going to have to use a smoke screen to avoid getting picked on by this carrier at this point. And we get some planes shot down though. Pozharsky doesn't have like it's good AA for a tier 7 cruiser, but like not like where there's definitely tons of better stuff out there. Anti-air, of course, not building into anti-air. For the most part, building into AP shells, right? We're gonna start making a move up. We've got 2 cruisers left and the aircraft carrier. So this game ends up being a little bit of a stomp here. So we've got quite a bit of ships left. And then I don't know why, but my teammates hadn't moved into Charlie Cap yet. So I'm like, all right, I'll move in, cap the zone, right? I'm going for XP and credit earnings a lot of times when I'm playing this ship. So I'll move into the cap, get the cap. That'll help out with XP and credits. And then we'll see if we can hit this D7P on our way over here. And we can, so that's kill number 2. Riga, I don't know where he has been, man. He has been letting his team down. In the back of the map. Hadn't been spotted for quite some time either. So we'll go and push up towards him to try and hunt him down. and simultaneously get this zone capped as well. So yeah, here's gonna be the difference, right? 100,000 damage, right? The first game we played, right? We lost, but we had over 200,000 in damage. So I'm curious to see kind of we'll see the difference in XP earnings here. We're gonna get a zone cap as well, which helps as well. So the assist capture there. And then he's just kiting away, so we're just going to head point straight towards him. Maybe we could go for zone A, but by that time we might actually win out on points too, by the time we were to get there. And I'm curious where this aircraft carrier is also. He's one of those guys that just hit reverse and is hanging out in the back of the map. He might be. I'm looking at the mini-map. We can see where his torpedo airstrike bombers are coming from, so he might be back there. Yeah, Iowa's highlighting that area. That's fine, that makes sense. I'm kind of thinking, like, if I can get close enough to where I'm spotted, we can either draw some fire from him or potentially have him spotted too, right? He might have similar concealment than us. There he is. Not sure if it's us or the battleship that's picking him up here, but try and move up just a little bit more, and we'll take some shots here, especially if he's going to turn for us. And I'll hold off on dropping smoke here. We'll just try to watch our angling. So we'll turn in as he fires at us. Try and mitigate some of that damage. Worked quite well. There we pop Confederate. And we'll just continue to pick on him here. It's really all we can do. My teammates do get the aircraft carrier spotted, and then of course we are approaching 1,000 points here simultaneously. So this game is going to get wrapped up quite quick. So again, we'll take a peek at the leaderboard. Kind of curious the difference between a really good high damage losing game versus a sort of little more moderate damage winning game here. I think we didn't even get kills in that first game. Yep, so there we go on points. So we'll take a quick peek here. And then we'll go through the commander build as well. Yeah, I am using Andrew the Lip here. Yeah, 3,500 XP, right? So you got to remember, so what, that'd probably be my losing game score probably would have been a little bit better, right? So you get a 1.5x multiplier, right? But only 2 kills there, 3,500 XP. But we do break the 1 million credit earnings mark there, so that's pretty great. Also, right, so over 1 million credits earned for that one. I do have a Commander Geist on here, and there's a common credit booster, right? So there's still more potential earnings than we have. Sort of like our fleet perks as well. That mitigates a little bit of the your usage cost for each game, right? But aiming system mod, propulsion mod, right? So this is how I have the ship built out. Concealment, and then gun control fire system for the range and accuracy. That's kind of usually my preference there. I did put an epic mod on there, right? We play this ship quite a bit, so that's kind of where it's a good idea to start putting that stuff on there. But right, for base trait, right, he has these a little bit more damage doing the more hits you get, and then for inspirations, I'm legit just building into AP shell, main gun AP shell damage for inspirations, right? So. But yeah, his base trait's kind of where it's at. I don't even have him fully upgraded. Then we're using Piercer here for, again, capitalizing on AP shell damage. Punch through, same rationale there. You can kind of pick what you want here that suits your fancy would be, I guess, right? And then Fixated here for the shell grouping and accuracy. He doesn't have this ship doesn't have an observation plane, so it'd be kind of silly to use this one. So I would go Fixated. You could pick the sonar one, right? Fully packed's always a good option on a cruiser, but for this one, I liked Refill Station just to get those shots fired quicker, right? So I was kind of curious what my stats were on this ship, right? 61% win rate. on that. It's not half bad. I do occasionally, especially if I'm playing on live stream, I'd argue I play a little aggressive with this one sometimes, so it probably could be better, but yeah, that's not half bad. We'll take it. We'll take what we get. As always, guys, special thanks to channel members. Thanks for being a member and helping support me. If you're interested in that, check out the member section on my page, on my YouTube channel. But as always, subscribing is always free, right? And if you do find out you get annoyed with me, you can always unsubscribe just as easily. But that does help me out. I am still kind of a small channel, so a couple new people here and there pushing the subscribe button. I notice you and appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out, right? But yeah, I try to do Legends videos every day and then occasionally live stream, so keep an eye out for me there. But otherwise, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.